Here is the remaining six
inventors who created something
powerful and then died suddenly. You want to know how to spot a real genius?
They don't get rich. They don't get rewards. They get erased. Because when you create something that could actually liberate people from disease, from dependency, from control, they don't put you on the cover of Time magazine. They make sure you don't get remembered at all.
So here are more 6 inventors that created something powerful and then died suddenly.
Number 6, Dr. David Kelly. The man who spoke about weapons of mass destruction. He was a British biological warfare expert, a UN weapons inspector, one of the most qualified men alive on the subject. And when the UK government started pushing the Iraq war based on lies, he said so on the record. And when the UK government started pushing the Iraq war based on lies, he said so on the record. Days later, he was found dead in the woods. Slit wrist, empty packet of pills. They ruled it a suicide even though the knife had no fingerprints. The amount of blood didn't match the injury, and multiple medical experts call the official story medically impossible. But hey, nothing to see here. Right? Just another man who told the truth at the wrong time.
Now you know how this government and deep state works.
Number 7. The journalist who died for printing what she saw. An Indian journalist, open critic of government corruption, religious violence, and far-right extremism, she was doxxed, threatened, but she refused to stop. Then one night as she was unlocking her front door, she was shot point-blank 7 times in the chest. Police said it was a personal grudge. Activists say it was an execution. When journalists stop being journalists and start being martyrs, what does that tell you about what the truth costs now?
That's to show how government want to control and hide the truth and oppressions. Number 8, Andrei Jack, inventor of a highly efficient magnetic generator.
This little-known Russian inventor claimed to have built a magnet-based power generator that produced energy without fuel, a possible break in the laws of thermodynamics. He was documenting his findings online, slowly building credibility, and then boom, he disappeared. No obituary, no official statement. His research disappeared. And if you think free energy inventors disappearing is rare, go ahead. Google how many have died mysteriously in the last 20 years. I'll wait. Dr. Sebi, the herbalist who claimed he could cure AIDS. He said disease couldn't exist in an alkaline body. He built a following, a clinic, and a reputation for reversing chronic illness using diet and herbs. He claimed to have cured HIV, lupus, and cancer. And in 1988, he was actually taken to court for it, and he won. Years later, just as a documentary about his life was being announced, he was arrested in Honduras for money laundering, held in custody, died from pneumonia in jail, but his family and supporters still say he was silenced. Food isn't medicine until you say it too loudly. And number 10, Aaron Swartz, the programmer who believed knowledge should be free. The co-founder of Reddit, internet prodigy, at 26, he downloaded millions of academic journals from MIT saying knowledge shouldn't be locked behind paywalls. He was charged with 13 federal felonies. Facing 35 years in prison under intense pressure, Aaron died by suicide, or at least that's how the story goes. No trial, no platform to explain, just gone.
The government just eliminated with silent, so people don't go deep about the questioning them.
Lastly, number 11. Botanist Nikolai Vavilov, who has a lot of knowledge on nature and wanted to improve our crops and food limit. Who dedicated much of his work to improving essential crops such as wheat and maize. However, he ran into the government who hates to improve lives of the middle class and poor people.
believed in Mendelian inheritance, which demonstrated how invisible factors, now recognized as genes, predictably determine the traits of a plant or animal. However, Stalin favored a pseudoscientific biologist named Trofim Denisovich Lysenko, who believed instead in Lamarckism, the inheritance of acquired characteristics. According to this theory, parent organisms can pass on traits acquired during their lifetime to their offspring. While this theory once had many proponents, we now know that it's fundamentally incorrect. Sure, our parents have a psychological impact on who we become, but biologically, the traits we inherit at birth are based on their genetic information. Nevertheless, Stalin's favorite, Lysenko, rose to a position of influence, becoming director of the Institute of Genetics in the USSR's Academy of Sciences. Vavilov, however, denounced Lysenko's ideas, fearing that they could have disastrous consequences for agriculture. In August 1940, Vavilov was then arrested on charges of espionage and sabotage, as authorities claimed he was attempting to undermine Soviet research. He was interrogated, given a death sentence which was later changed to 20 years behind bars, but he died in prison in early 1943 due to the harsh conditions. He was most likely starved to death in a gulag or forced labor camp. Some accounts claim that he didn't die from starvation, however, but was murdered by being thrown into a lime pit. Either way, Vavilov's attempt to lead his country in the right direction ultimately cost him his life. Because, God forbid, we make education accessible to the people. So follow me if you're tired of the script, if you know we're not being told the full story, and you're ready to start connecting the dots that were never meant to be connected. This isn't a history lesson. This is a pattern. Subscribe and turn notifications for more untold truth, hidden history, and patterns.